guys, gals, and gender fluid peeps? We have a new team in town that includes both Betties and Buddies. I'm Kristin.
I'm Mike.
And we are here to give you anything and everything about Sense8. First, we will be covering Season 1 this time before the premiere on Cinco de Mayo of Season 2. So before we get started, please follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Reddit, email us at boobtubebuddies@gmail.com. Most importantly, please go on iTunes and rate and review us. That's how more people get to know us.
Right. Plus, we have the Patreon account, so if you want to donate to the show, because we basically do this nonprofit, and just it's not anything we're going to make money off of, but it does help cover some of the costs.
Speak for yourself.
Right. We're not begging, but you got an extra grand laying around. Don't hesitate to throw it our way.
Don't hesitate. We love anonymous donors. Okay, before we get started, do you have any housekeeping whatsoever?
I don't. I will say that, I guess it is housekeeping. Me and Adam are going to be seeing Guardians of the Galaxy tomorrow, so look for that coming sometime soon when we do our review of that.
Oh yeah, and also we are covering Fargo. We're covering Better Call Saul. In a several weeks, me and the other Betty Bethany will be covering Orange is the New Black.
Oh yeah.
Yes, very excited for that. And all right, let's kick this big.
Sure. And if you've a steady listener, you know we have this little skit called Summing It Up in a Tweet, which is where we like to kick things off. So you've never done this before, Kristin?
Without further ado,
I'll let you go ahead and
let's do it.
Get it out there.
Okay.
Oh yeah, we're summing it up, summing it up, summing it up. Oh yeah, we're summing it up. Oh yeah, we're summing it up, summing it up, summing it up and up.
Tweet.
A group of 8 realize their fate some date, but they're all a Sense8.
Nice. You got the rhyming bit down, which we all seem to like to do. I really wanted to do a summing up in a song, which is another aspect to this. But if you heard Ghost in the Shell, I had to do some humming. It went really badly.
Oh,
so
let's hear it. Come on.
I'm not going to do music. So
Way to lift me up and then bring you right back down.
So mine is, I love the story, the characters too, from Capheus to Riley Blue. And sure, it gets a little slow, but damn those orgies though. And that is summing it up in a tweet.
Okay, we're back. And okay, so let's start this off. We are just pretty much going to do a primer of season 1. We have not mapped out how we're going to do this, so let's just get started.
Yeah, since we're just kind of wrapping up season 1 and doing the whole thing, too much structure wasn't really good. So just overall, what were your impressions of it?
It was kind of a roller coaster of emotions, honestly. It started out like, ooh, and then kind of like, and then, okay, all right, I'll stick with it.
Yeah.
That's how I went. How about you?
Well, when I went into it, it was mostly because of the Freema Agyeman, I can't pronounce her last name ever, who's Amanita with Nomi. She's and she was on Doctor Who, so I was like looking for something to watch. Yeah, the
oh my god,
ones, like I think it was like the 7th Doctor. I'm gonna get held to that, which is probably wrong, but David Tennant. It was David Tennant. Everybody, settle down. But but like I was a fan of her when she was the companion, so everybody said she was fantastic on this show. I was like, so I'll check it out. I looked at reviews. And the reviews were just of the first 3 episodes, because that's usually how they do these things. They release 3 episodes to the critics. They let them look at it, and then they go from there.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and the interesting thing with this is that, like, the first 3 episodes for me weren't very good. They didn't get reviewed very good, but that 4th episode is the 4 Non-Blondes What's Up episode, which is fucking fantastic.
The first time they all you kind of see them sense each other.
Yeah, it was so good.
So uplifting.
And if you... So if you're watching the show, you've never checked it out, give it to the 4th episode. Like, that's what I tell everybody.
Absolutely. I was going to say that's my favorite episode.
Yeah, that's when you're all in on it. So.
Yeah. Now, to follow up with that, so you have this, you're pumped about them all singing the song and getting together, and so you're kind of wanting more of that, right? And you get more of that on Knocking on Heaven's Door.
Yeah.
But it's not as uplifting.
No.
Or what you expect.
Yeah. Well, it gets really graphic too with the very end when he's playing. Is that what he's playing on the piano?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize that's what he's playing. No, when her father. The pianist in
Yes,
Iceland.
that's it. That's knocking on heaven's door.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, and then you see all of the really graphic stuff you try to stay away from.
Yeah, so like,
child.
and that's like one of the things that I found fascinating about the show is that it goes from like kind of these like highly emotional, sometimes even bland moments, I guess, and then jumps into graphic stuff, and it's like whoa, and but it's like, so it's kind of like goes back to what you were saying, like there's this bit of a roller coaster ride to how you experience the show.
I love that you just said that it goes from like bland to whoa, because I binge watched this show, and so like, you know, I'd be in like a third episode in one night, and I'll kind of glaze over because it's kind of gotten slow or whatever, and then all of a sudden I look up and a baby's head's coming out of somebody's V. You know what I'm saying?
Like up close.
Whoa! Definitely a reason for me to put down Candy Crush. But so the first episode, my first reaction was, oh, hey, Daryl Hannah. And the guy from Lost.
Who's that? Oh.
Naveen Andrews.
Jonas.
Jonas, yes. Exactly. And, okay, so pretty much what you find out is the first scene is in this kind of abandoned, is it a church or is it like just abandoned building?
Yeah.
And
it looked churchy.
Yeah, exactly. It did definitely look churchy. And Daryl Hannah seems to be suffering from something, hot flashes, looks like she's about to die. She's almost like she was doing heroin, right?
Yeah, she's on that junk.
She's on that junk. And Jonas is whispering in her ear, but they show little flashes where you don't see him. And then all of a sudden she has her, quote, birth. And then you start to see all of the characters that will make up their cluster, as they call it. And she gave birth to them.
Yeah.
That would scare the shit out of me if I was like, like just doing my hair in the shower, and all of a sudden I look at my long mirror and I see Daryl Hannah just looking straight up at me.
Yeah, and so as the show goes on, though, this is something I was a little confused by, because especially with the character of Will, like there seems to be something going on with him, as you find out, with whispers and some little girl.
Yeah, I don't get that part.
Yeah, so that wasn't like really explained very well, so hopefully they'll resolve that.
So I'm not just like missing something and stupid?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, good.
Like hopefully,
I was going to ask you that tonight.
Yeah, no, there's definitely something there. I think it played a role in whatever happened to his Will's dad, who's played by Joey Pantoliano.
I love that's who they picked for him.
Yeah.
That's so great.
And
you know why though, right? Because he was in The Matrix, and the Wachowski sisters made The Matrix.
I didn't put that together, but that does, of course, make sense.
Yeah.
So there's something there. Like, he has a history of whispers in this little girl, and whatever that is going to tie into the show, I don't know, but I was confused because he did seem to already have like this psychic connection, and maybe that's why he's kind of taken on the role of father with the cluster, and
that's true.
As they move on. So, but
and it's funny that you say that, because I'm having a blank right now. What's her name? Riley Blue. She's kind of taken on the motherly role.
Yeah.
And they're sort of together.
Yeah.
So, okay. So real quick, you have Soon, Nomi, Kala, Riley, Wolfgang, Lido, Will, as your, or in Capheus, excuse me, as your whole Sense8 cluster. And you got Mama Angelica. Who shot herself, sorry, by the way.
Yeah, and kind of Papa Jonas.
Kind of Papa Jonas, yes, absolutely. Yeah. I'm still on the fence whether he's good or bad. Yeah,
so they tell you he hunts, like he played a role in hunting Sense8, so you don't know exactly how to take him.
Exactly. But I wonder, okay, so I heard a lot of criticism towards season 1 was that it was slow. But I've also heard that this is a 5-part story, which they've confirmed 5 seasons.
Right.
So I think it's okay that it was slow, because you really wanted to get a feel. I also heard complaints about not seeing enough of whispers or understanding, but I think that this was just an introduction season.
Yeah, so it's a really ambitious television show. It's
10 million an episode.
Yeah, so it's
same as Game of Thrones.
Right. It's super ambitious in a couple of senses. One, the budget, obviously. 2, you're trying to tell 8 people's stories. So you have to give them all background. And they do a good job when they're really fast about it. So when the exposition is fast and they're like, boom, 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 this is how this person got to this point, it's good. It slows down. That's where the show kind of gets a little iffy. But then there's the subject matter, too. There's gender roles and stuff like that that's really socially relevant today.
Yeah.
That they tackle, maybe in a heavy-handed way at times.
Yeah,
but it's still, like I said, the ambitious part of it, it's really cool.
What I really like about this show is that in every other show, you have a specific gay character. Mm-hmm. They make sure that they get all the diversity in, and you have that one gay character.
Yeah.
And it's just a formula. In this, there's no formula. Love is love. Mm-hmm. You have several gay characters, a transgender character who is actually transgender in real life.
Yep, Jamie Clayton.
And you have, straight characters and all that, but really none of it matters. And what's funny is one of the Wachowski sisters, I can't remember who, said she believes that all of these characters are really pansexual.
Yeah, you probably need to believe that. So if you watch,
especially with that orgy scene.
Yeah, and it's one of the best episodes. It's one of the great scenes, and I've been rewatching season 1. I think Lito runs into Will, and it's like, oh, we haven't met before. He's like, no, we've had sex.
Yeah, I know. No,
and
we've actually
it's like, yeah. So
don't you hate when that happens?
Yeah, and that's another thing going into it that I love about the show is that these actors. And it's really a bunch of people that you don't know. I mean, the guy who plays Will. Yeah. So I won't get into that right yet.
We'll see.
Yeah. But Tuppence Middleton, who plays Riley.
Yeah.
Jamie Clayton. I recognize them.
But they feel new to
They do, but they're not household names. And what's amazing is getting back to my point, which I started to wander off of. All these people take incredible chances. Yes. The only two characters that I don't think take a lot of chances, and one of them has been corrected, is the girl who plays Kala, who is Tina Desai, who's an Indian actress, and maybe that's part of who she is. But yeah, she is, because she is playing this Indian character, and they have this strict heritage.
She's supposed to be reserved,
right? And the original Capheus, who.
I happen to disagree. I loved the original Capheus.
I like the actor. I think he did a really great job of acting.
Yeah.
But he wasn't taking necessarily the same chances that the rest of the cast were taking.
That's true.
And we've already seen the other Capheus take on that challenge of being in those physical roles that the show is depending upon for some of its content.
That's what I liked, though, about him, is that he seems like a character that would be crazy, taking chances. And the reservedness of him, made me like him even more because he was just this happy, simple guy. But all of a sudden, he's I'm a badass driver and crazy. And I don't know, I really liked him. And okay, so I didn't want to get into, because technically the Christmas episode was season 2.
Yeah.
But can we please talk about the conversation that him and his friend had while fixing up the car? And it's oh, you look different. Oh, well, don't the character, whatever they said,
Yeah, I think they handled that really well.
It was great.
Yeah.
It was great.
Because you don't really see his face. He's lit from behind. And then, so you're you catch glimpses of him and you realize this is not Amel Amin who played the original Capheus. It's somebody new, and it's this little eared guy.
Yeah.
And he's much darker.
Yes.
But, I like the character so much that I think I'm not going to mind the change too much.
I loved the original Capheus, but I'm starting to get... I've watched the first episode quote a couple times, and I'm starting to get used to him. What's funny, though, on both of them is they actually use the wrong accent.
Oh, do they?
Yeah, it's I think it's more of a South African accent. I can't remember what they said, but it's a incorrect accent, but who knows if that's actually going to tie in to something in the future.
Yeah, well...
I don't know.
I don't know. I mean...
It'd be cool to see.
I don't know anything about African accents. What am I talking about?
Me too. I'm not going to pretend to.
We have a large Senegal following, so what's up.
That's true. Hey guys, hey. Really quick, I want to know your top 3 favorite characters in this real quick.
So it's hard because there's dynamics and there's groups that I like a lot.
We'll go into that. Trust me. I just want to know characters first, though.
So. Of the Sense8, I'm guessing, is what you're saying. Mm-hmm. Okay, it's Lito. I love Lito.
I love Lito so much.
I like Riley.
Uh-huh. I love Riley.
Yeah, and who would be third?
If I would be a character, I would want to be Riley.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Wolfgang. Like, there's something.
Wolfgang is badass.
Right, he's got that gigantic D too, which is on display. But, but like, there's more.
I'm okay with that.
Like, there's
I'm pretty
more to
comfortable.
him, and I don't know how I felt about him before. Like, him and Kala have their little discussion on the rooftop where they're talking about religion versus science and all this. And it was somewhere in there that I really started liking him.
I really like him a lot, so much so that I'm listening on Audible, City of Thieves.
Oh.
By David Benioff, the guy who is with Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones, yeah.
Yeah, and there's a character in there who's supposed to be younger and blonde, but he's actually Russian, and that's exactly who I picture the entire time I'm listening to it.
Yeah.
Because he's like a badass, smartass guy around that age, and I'm like, that's who would play him.
Yeah.
My favorite is Wolfgang.
Mm-hmm.
I love Soon. She's so understated.
Yeah.
And so understated, and then I just like her. She comes out of nowhere with little jabs or little comments that I like that they give her.
Yeah, she grew on me as the season went along because she lightened up a little bit.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And then I think my last one is definitely Leto.
God, Leto's awesome.
Leto's the best.
And going back to those dynamics, like,
Yeah, I want to know your favorite dynamics.
the
too.
Leto, Hernando, Daniela dynamic is fantastic. And like when Daniela starts
I'm
playing
nodding
with
my head
herself,
vigorously.
like when Daniela, every time they start making out, she's like immediately starts like fingering herself. It's like, this is so awesome. Like, I like her so much because of that.
What's so funny is I watched it, and then we decided we were going to do it, and so then I decided to watch a couple things, and it was like, I'm talking a couple scenes. Like, I would go to each episode and watch a couple scenes. I went to like one scene in the Christmas special. It was where they all are celebrating their birthday together, which I love that scene. And of course, they start making out, and she starts doing that. I'm like, without fail, Daniela, I can always count on you for a little masturbation.
Yeah, she's great. And I mean, like, I like that little story arc with her and was it Joaquin?
Yes.
And it, it was good.
I love Hernando too.
Yeah.
It's a really good. They have really good characters in this, and I think that's kind of what makes the show.
Yeah, and I think if it was anything else, I think maybe because we got so much of it, it wore on me. But the Nomi and the Amanita thing, because like I said, going back to why I started watching the show, I did like that, and like I've been a fan of Jamie Clayton when she was on.
I feel like she could give a little more though, Jamie Clayton.
Yeah, I guess I can understand that, but like I've liked her. She was on this show called Hung. I don't know if you.
With Thomas Jane.
Yeah,
the guy from Punisher. He was an HBO show, right?
And it was kind of like
she was on Hung.
Yeah,
I give up.
And
after a while,
she was a transgender client before.
Really?
It was.
I really like her character. Just there's sometimes where I feel like her character is a lot more sad or happy than she's admitting.
Okay.
And so
I wouldn't argue with that.
And I feel like she has the potential to like really show it, and so I'd really like to see that from her in the second season.
Yeah.
But we might, because I don't know if you know this, but it was originally done by Lilly and Lana Wachowski. And Lana Wachowski is transgender. And actually, it's Lana, right? That was
both of them are transgender.
Oh, are they?
Yeah.
Oh, I did not know that. But it's interesting because Lilly is the one that came out in March. It was just this past weekend. She's actually taking a break, so the entire season 2 is only done by Lana.
Right, I did read that. Yeah.
So I find that very interesting. And
are you a fan of their previous works?
Yeah, of course.
I am not. I am not a Matrix guy.
I like the first one. I've never seen the second and third, so.
Yeah, and I wasn't a Cloud Atlas person, and there's something else they did.
Okay, so maybe I can say I'm a fan of one of their works because I've never seen Cloud Atlas. I've never seen Jupiter Ascending, and Jupiter Ascending looked absolutely awful.
Right, I didn't see that either.
But yeah, Matrix 1 was good.
But what I'll say is this: so the directing of a TV show, I think, is a different animal, and so maybe they're learning. And some of the awkwardness, some of the slowness, and the storytelling that wasn't translated very well. Hopefully, maybe with a single person working on it and a little bit of experience, I'm hoping that kind of goes away and we see like a smoother storyline. So.
Yeah. Well, what's funny is most shows, if they have several directors, it's because they do it in different episodes. Mm-hmm. And this one was by location.
Yeah.
And I thought that was pretty cool. Today, yeah. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
So, ditto.
Yeah. So what is it? They have 5 directors?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, the frequent flyer miles on those.
Oh man, yeah.
Because they would just like fly people out just to do those scenes. But my favorite dynamic, and it's such a girly thing to say, but I love it so much, and it's so unexpected too, because honestly, because I've seen him before, I would think it's Will and Riley, but it's not. It's actually Wolfgang and Kala. There's some chemistry they have that just has me glued. Like, the moment that they met, like, I'm like, oh, I like this.
Well, that's the whole, like, Ross and Rachel, will they, won't they? That's like a traditional
eat it up, and you know me and
television
friends
trope. Yeah, and so yeah, no, it's definitely got its appeal, and she is so attractive.
She really is.
And
they're so different
is he,
too.
And it's like, yeah, you know, come on.
Yeah, because with Will and Riley, I hate to say it, but you know, it's like a blonde and brunette white people. You know what I mean? With the difference in Max, that's his real name. Wolfgang and Kala, I don't know. There's just something very magnetic about their relationship that I really love.
Yeah, that is good. I'm rethinking my second favorite.
Well, yeah, you know, right? Exactly. So, okay, well, I mean, let's see. We can maybe go by character, kind of, you know, what they're going through. So Will's a cop. And there's something, like you said, going on in the past with little girl and the police force and his dad. And
yeah, so his dad used to be a captain.
Yeah.
Something really bad happened where we know that he's got a, what do they call? Colostomy bag. Because he throws it on the table. He throws it on the table at the bar. That. And like, so my understanding is that somehow that whole thing is tied in. Like, whatever bad happened to his dad is related to Will and that little girl, and why he became a police officer, I think.
Do you think it has anything to do with the whole Sense8 thing, or do you think that's just a separate story?
I do, because we see him when he's a little kid. I think, is it the scene where he's talking to the therapist? And we see him and he's looking at the girl on the operating table, and and it's Whispers operating on her. So it's
almost like a predestiny.
Yeah, so there's something going on there.
Interesting. Okay, so then we have Riley Blue. Icelandic beauty and DJ.
Can I say, her accent, this actress's accent, she's British.
Oh, she is?
Yeah. It's really good. Like,
I was gonna say, I thought she was Icelandic.
No, she's British. It's really good. Like,
it's very good.
Yeah, I'm like,
she had me tricked.
Right, I thought she was Icelandic, and it's very good. She's been on something like I Want to See Now, War and Peace, because that's like my favorite book ever. But
me too. I've never read it.
Oh, I'm just kidding. Yeah, it's like, whatever. It's the greatest book ever. But but so now I kind of want to watch that, because now she's got me interested in how talented she might actually be.
I mean, if you can pull off that kind of accent.
Yeah.
And it's like effortless how she does it.
Right. It's very good.
That's pretty crazy. And then, okay, so we have Will, we have Riley, and Riley actually gets caught up in some shit. Mm-hmm. And we also see stuff from her past.
With Ned Stark's brother.
What's that?
With Benjen Stark.
That's right, with Benjen Stark. I remember
my God.
first couple episodes, me and Jason were like, who is that? And then all of a sudden we're like, oh, it's, what is it name? Cold Hands?
Cold Hands now, yeah.
Cold Hands, yeah. But she apparently had a fiance in the past, as well as she was pregnant. Can we just talk about really quick that episode where all of a sudden Will's pregnant in the car?
Oh yeah, that was funny.
That was amazing. And,
what the fuck?
Exactly. And I guess they were on some icy roads one night, and
yeah, so she was in labor pains, and I guess he was rushing her to the medical center.
Yeah, and
Magnus, her first.
Yeah, shit went down, and
did he ride a horse to prom? What was that?
He what?
When he showed up at her school on the pony.
Oh yeah, that was so random. I'm like, what am I watching right now?
That must be an Iceland thing.
It has to be, because it's like the white knight, but
yeah,
it was weird. And so, you know, and I guess it was her aunt that told her not to come back to Iceland because bad things would happen if she returned to Iceland.
Is that the lady she keeps seeing? Is that who you're calling her aunt?
Is it her aunt or her?
I think it's another Sense8.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
I thought she's related to her, though. I might be wrong.
No, you might be right.
There's a very good chance I'm wrong.
I didn't notice that. Like I didn't even think about it, so it might be right.
Housekeeping for next time.
Yep.
And so pretty much Riley's got a lot going on.
Riley's got a lot going on.
She, like, in the current timeline, she's got this whole drug deal went bad. Her boyfriend died. Everybody died. She grabbed the drugs. She threw them away. Now people are kind of looking for that. And then in the past, which they go back to a lot.
Riley's got the hookup, by the way.
She really does.
Yeah. And I want to, I love the scene with her dad and the two other musicians where they're out there smoking a little bit of weed. And she's like, oh, how about a little ecstasy? It's like, and when he's playing the piano.
Of water with it.
And he's just sweating balls when he's playing the piano. It's like, that is accurate.
Exactly. So I'm like, you're not going to give him some water with that? Don't you love your father?
Yeah.
Exactly.
While he's playing the piano.
He is the creepiest man I've ever seen.
Yeah, and he's a famous musician.
I was going to say.
Yeah, I think his name's like KK, or it's Cow in Icelandic.
Oh, really?
As I was reading it,
He
I wanted
looked
to write
familiar.
down. Yeah,
not because I'm familiar with Icelandic music, but.
No, but he's a legitimate.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then the girl who plays Kala, Tina Desai, she's a famous Bollywood actress, isn't she?
Yeah, I know she was in The Exotic Marigold Hotel.
Oh, was
which
she?
was a big deal.
Yeah.
But I don't, even when I was looking her up, I didn't recognize her from a lot of stuff.
What's so funny is there's not a lot to her character, but she's still one of my favorite. I don't know why.
She's hot.
Yeah, that's probably it.
I like looking.
Fun to look at.
I found in general, in this, I don't know how bad this is going to sound. I like looking at Indian people, whether they be male or female. I tend to find them attractive for some reason.
They are, especially when they have British accents.
And when they do the dancing, the Bollywood dancing.
Every time I see Bollywood dancing, I'm like, I just want to get up and do the same thing.
Yeah.
Why don't we do this in America?
And they all seem to know we do, but it's called line dancing because they all know
It's not the same.
It's not the same. It doesn't look as good.
No, it's not as colorful.
But they all know the moves, and a certain song comes on, and they jump up and they start doing the dance, and everybody sems to know what it is.
Exactly.
At least in Bollywood.
It's like a musical.
Yeah.
I need more of that. But yeah, so Kala her dad works for a pharmaceutical, or not her dad. Raja's dad works for owns the pharmaceutical company.
I think he owns it, yeah.
Yeah, and she's getting married to the most eligible bachelor, Raja, who everybody wants except for her.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Her sister is thirsty.
Exactly. Very thirsty. And you kind of see over the course of season 1, her going back and forth, and every time she's stuck in a situation with Raja, she seems to think of Wolfgang, and they kind of appear to each other all the time.
At the worst moments.
Like, you again?
Okay, so she keeps popping in on this dude when he's mid-coitus.
Oh my god, those are my favorite scenes.
Yeah, and he's so cool. He's always smiling.
Whatever.
Slapping the ass or whatever, and just, you're in here.
That whole scene where she's supposed to have her honeymoon night or whatever,
yeah,
versus him. Oh, it's one of my favorites. I guess towards the end, I keep wanting to say the end of season 1, but it's not. It's the first episode of season 2. She ends up marrying Raja. Mm-hmm. And
awesome honeymoon. Positano. Yeah.
Oh my god, that's money. Somebody donated to their Patreon. I'll tell you that right now.
Hint, hint.
Exactly. And there's a scene halfway through the season where Raja's father is killed talking to her.
Well, he doesn't die.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Oh, God, I'm so stupid. Sorry.
That's all right. He should have died.
Lots of work.
First of all, he got stabbed by a bunch of monks, which is a little crazy. You got to do something bad to piss up some monks.
Shit's bad when you're getting stabbed by monks.
And then he rolls down a flight of stairs I don't know, Eddie Murphy in Raw. and then he
great reference.
And then they he's in the hospital, but they do he does say it. Rajan says it on their honeymoon, my dad almost dying. So
yeah, okay, that's right. Sorry, it's
all right.
Tons of work.
I've seen it now, literally 5 times.
Okay, I've only seen it once, and then
when you don't have kids, you can rewatch shit.
Exactly. Right now, I've got Mickey Mouse and Moana on repeat until he goes to bed. So
yeah.
It's fun. So if you want to talk about that, I will challenge you on any fact. Okay, so moving on, we have Wolfgang. Wolfgang is a handsome German man.
Very handsome.
And he's got a bestie.
Oh, I thought you were going to say a big old D.
Well, that too. Let's not complain about that. And he's got a bestie named Felix, and what's really funny is in real life they're both named Max. Yeah.
Yeah, I like Max Moff, right? That's the other actor. Mm-hmm. And Max Riemelt is Riemelt? Riemelt. Mm. It's probably Riemelt in German.
Riemelt, yeah, probably. Yeah. Riemelt. But yeah, so they're kind of in a say gang, but it's not like it's an organized crime.
Right. Like, so Wolfgang's father is the brother of a mob boss, a German mob boss, essentially. And so he's on the edges of this mob activity.
Yes, exactly. And then pretty much throughout the entire season 1, Max gets insanely shot with a shotgun, and he's by his friend's side the whole time. And during this happening, he ends up killing his uncle, his cousin. He pretty much
Max
takes out his family.
No, Wolfgang. Sorry, I said his real name again.
That's all right.
Maximum badass though.
Oh yeah.
Pun on his name.
Oh, that's why I picture the guy, because the guy in the book is kind of a badass, and I'm like, well, this is perfect.
Yeah.
That's why he's one of my favorite characters, is because one moment he's like adhering to my womanness, where I'm like, hey you, and then the next he's like such a badass, and he's like kind of both. And a lot of these characters have like just kind of one thing they're really, really good at, and he's kind of got a couple things, and I like that.
Yeah.
And so going into season 2, there's a question whether or not he's going to fill the shoes of this organized crime. As it's clear to us he doesn't want to, but
right. So the end of right. It's a New Year's special. So it's the end of season 1 because they released it so long ago. So that's don't call it 2-1.
Yes, exactly. They shouldn't. They should probably rename that.
It basically ended up with one of the German mob bosses trying to kill him, and him killing everybody.
Yep.
And saying Happy fucking New Year.
Exactly.
So that's where he's at. I don't
felt very Boondock Saints, like that scene in the hotel or in the where they kill everybody, and that's what it felt like.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I love it.
So that's where he's at. I mean, I guess he's at a crossroads. I mean, he can either take the reins, or probably has to leave Germany.
I think he might take the reins for a little bit. I don't know. We'll see.
I don't know either.
We'll see.
Yeah, I think it depends.
Max woke up though. Not Max.
Felix,
thank you.
I think it's interesting. Like, I think what he does is going to depend on whatever is wrong with Felix, because Felix was just curled up on the ground. So so I think if he's injured again or something like that, where I that's what makes me think he might just and run off to hopefully India.
That would be great. That would be great. I know. I'm really pulling for them. Okay, so then we have Nomi Marks.
Yes.
Nomi is with
hashtag Nomanita.
Nomanita? Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
That's not me.
Oh, I was going to say.
No, all her Twitter and social media stuff. No. It ends with hashtag Nomanita. I love it. Because of her and Amanita, her girlfriend.
Now that's a solid relationship right there.
Yeah, I don't know what you would have to do to drive a wedge between those two.
Exactly. So she's a hacker. And I love her friend Bug, or whatever his name is. Is it Bug?
Yeah, it's Bug.
He's such a crazy motherfucker, but I think there's something up with him.
It's one of the only characters I didn't like.
I like his when they first meet, and he's like, "You're so hot now."
I totally do you.
Exactly, I love. But
in a respectful way.
Exactly. So I actually liked that, but so there's a whole storyline where she's apparently sick, and they bring her to the hospital, and they want to give her a lobotomy, pretty much, right?
Yeah, so they recognize there's something wrong with her brain because her Sense8 juices are connecting the right hemisphere with the left hemisphere of her brain.
Yeah.
Easy for me to say. And so that's how they recognize these people. And that's how Whispers is able to target them.
Did you not want to die when Will was going up the elevator and he made eye contact with Whispers? I'm like, no, don't do it.
Yeah, I was like, why is he looking over there?
I'd be looking down all the time.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
I'd just be looking at Riley.
Yeah, it's just eye contact. Unless we're alone together, eye contact the entire time. So yeah, they're still after her. That doctor though, what's his name? That wanted to give her the lobotomy. Metzger. He's dead.
He's dead.
And
the zombie dude killed him.
That's right. Sorry, there is so much. We're not going to be able to probably cover it all.
No,
this is more going to be like an opinion primer of what's going on. So she's got a lot of shit going down. I kind of forget where they left off with Nomi.
She's living on Bug's boat.
Okay.
So she kind of moved on to Bug's boat. I don't think did they address that in the special? I don't know. The special was a lot of togetherness. So I don't know.
That's
if
a good
it was,
way to put it.
I don't know if it was a lot of like pushing the story, other than like Wolfgang's story got pushed forward quite a bit.
Yeah.
But I don't.
You're right in a lot of togetherness.
Yes, but like that's kind of where she's at now. She's on the run. She's a fugitive. Last I knew, she's living on the boat with Amanita and Bug.
Okay, gotcha. And I don't know if we explained this before, but with the Sense8s, there are times that they pretty much can sense with anytime somebody's in trouble, sad, in need of something, and then they can connect to each other.
Yeah, I think need's the key word, because it can be emotional, it can be physical, I mean, danger, whatever it is, but like you see a lot of like Leto and Nomi because they're going through, like she can
Similar
help
stuff.
him through his thing. So
My favorite was when Will was kissing Riley. And if you connect with somebody and you're in theirs, you're literally kissing or talking to air.
And his buddy walks in on him.
Very
What's
elementary
going on,
school.
bro?
I loved it so much.
Yeah.
And so these people, they can help each other out. So, you have somebody like Wolfgang who can help break into something. Or let's move on to Leto. Leto is an actor and he can help kind of lie his way through things.
Yep.
And so we have Leto, who is lives in New Mexico, right?
It's Mexico.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Not New Mexico.
Okay.
Yeah. And he's a telenovela star.
Yes.
And like those jeans.
In the closet.
Those jeans, right. And he's in the closet with his beautiful boyfriend, Hernando, and his beard, Daniela.
Yes.
And like where we're at with them is they've been outed. Daniela got hot while they were making out, and she says she's into gay porn.
Yes.
So she started videotaping them. Her ex-boyfriend got the pictures and released them. So now he's kind of been forced out. He had to go talk to his mom, which was awesome. Come here, my little penguin. I'm
that was amazing.
I like her so much. So that's
Because
kind
you were
of
nervous what she was going to say, and then she's like,
yeah,
it was awesome.
and it's actually one of I think that when he goes back to his apartment when they're in the car, that's like one of the more important scenes in the show too. Not to overlook that, where he's sitting in the car and it like somebody has scrawled faggot across the wall, and then each one of the Sense8s jumps into his head and sees like the bad word up there, whether it's virgin, the N word, which I hate saying N word because.
It's almost like putting that word into the person's mind.
I do, and I hate the other word, but whatever.
Yeah.
But they all see the thing up there that represents them in a word, and they all hate it. So
yeah,
one of the stronger social statements in the show.
Absolutely. But then Hernando ends up leaving him because he's not standing up for Daniela, and then he goes through a whole scene of depression, and then he kind of
bathtub. Listen. The ice cream scene was so good.
Yes,
this is part of the reason Leto is so compelling.
Yeah.
But like he's eating the ice cream, he's passed out in the bathtub. I mean, you just really like the guy. It's just
I love that character so much.
Yeah, he's so sweet.
That's what I was gonna say. He's
out.
so sweet and so well-meaning, and he wants to make everyone happy and keep his career. And he can't have everything, so he learned that. And I'm curious to see what happens with his fame in the next season. So
yeah, I mean, I don't know if you saw the trailer that came out.
I didn't.
There's a new trailer that came out today where he's being interviewed, and he's trying to he's talking to the interviewer, and he's like, no, this is who I am. They're asking who are you, and it's like that's the theme of the trailer is who am I. So he's like, who am I? And then so he's addressing it to the public now. So
good.
A little sneak peek into it.
I'm interested to see how that turns out.
Yeah, hopefully it'll turn out well. Come on.
Fingers crossed. Probably won't.
Leave Leto alone.
Yeah, exactly. That needs to be a new hashtag. Leave Leto alone. Okay, so then we have, let's move on to Soon.
Soon. Still in jail. I can't wait to see how they resolve that problem.
Oh, me too.
You have to get her out of there.
Oh, absolutely. Soon's a badass. She's a quiet storm.
Right. And this is one of the things, because she's a martial artist. And we were talking about this on Ghost in the Shell, me and Mothman, that Asian actors aren't getting the opportunities they should get. The whitewashing thing, don't want to get into it.
Yeah.
But they do make her an Asian martial artist, which was one of the things that kind of rubbed me the wrong way in the beginning. But
kind of cliche.
Yeah, and that might be why I don't like her as much as some of the other characters, but she really starts growing on you as the thing progresses, and you kind of get past the martial arts. She's a badass.
She is such a badass, and I like how quiet and reserved and unexpected she is. She's the daughter of a very successful businessman, and it's kind of her and her brother, and her brother is a dipshit, total shithead, does a lot of illegal stuff, and to save the family, she is the one that ends up in jail. And so hopefully she'll get out.
Yeah. And I mean, that going back to the social thing, I mean, because the value of women in Asian cultures sometimes is much lower than that of the sons.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Don't want to paint with like too broad a brush, but that is definitely what they're getting at over there. Is like, again, it's gender equality.
But if you're going to be stuck in jail, be a Sense8.
Yeah.
Because you can still get out every now and then.
Yeah,
you can still go party.
You still have a good time. Yeah.
Exactly. And it's like, I don't care if I'm in here because I can
yeah,
still
her
get
dancing
out.
around in the cell, you know, and then everybody's in there with her in the special. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, I loved that birthday scene.
Yeah.
That was one of my favorite things of them all partying together.
Yeah, when it's all 8 interacting together, it's really like there's great moments between like 1 or 2 of them at the same time, or 2 or 3 of them. But the
wasn't there one where there was like a ton of them and they just like it was Naomi hacking and then it was Cassius driving and then it was like all and it was like one after the other, bam, bam, bam. I really loved that scene.
Yeah,
that was one of the great ones.
You have to check out the trailer because the trailer's got a neat thing about the 8 working as one. Yeah, it's a new thing that they didn't do in the last season.
Now, here's my question. You seem to know, like, they'll see each other and they'll be like, well, this happened, but sometimes they don't know things. Is it inconsistency, a continuity issue, or is this just something we haven't learned?
I think it's just a continuity issue.
So you can't always...
Yeah, there's a few of those in there, and I think I see them a lot with Wolfgang and Kala, and it's not necessarily what's going on; it's where they're located. Mm-hmm. Like during the "What's Up" thing, they were jumping to 3 locations instead of 2, like everybody else.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so like that happens between the 2 of them. I didn't even
notice that, but you're right because I watched that today.
Yeah, it's the 2 of them only that I've noticed it with. I might just be missing it on the other one, so I don't know what that is. If it was a filming thing, but yeah, there's a couple continuity things.
Gotcha. Okay, so lastly we have Cassius Van Damme.
Right. Who's kind of the loner. Like,
yes.
He's got his buddy, but
he's got his buddy and his mom. His mom has AIDS, and he's pretty much doing anything he can to save her.
Yeah.
And in that, he gets hung up with the wrong crowd, but ends up saving the bad guy, who then in turn
buys him a new bus.
Yeah. And I really like that whole dynamic, honestly. I like the Cassius. What's his name? Do you know the bad guy's name? I can't remember.
You're talking about the bad guy who he fights against, not the guy he's working for, or the guy?
No, the guy he's working for, who's quote the bad guy in the beginning, but turns out
it begins with a K.
But yeah, that guy and him, I actually really like that dynamic and what it's turned into.
Yeah, I think ever since he saved him, like the guy is just like generally kind of being open-hearted with him.
Exactly.
Where like before he definitely had a motivation that he wasn't letting Cassius in on.
Exactly, and I actually really like the whole Cassius aspect of it, honestly.
Yeah, I tend to like loners. I don't know why.
That's me.
But yeah, so it is nice, and there's another interesting thing. Like we talk about the orgies and all the sex scenes. There's how the first Cassius didn't really participate in those scenes because he apparently had a problem. But
that's what I've heard.
When they are having like the big sex scenes and they cut to him and he's watching the Van Damme thing and he looks down because he's having a reaction to watching Van Damme work out was one of the funniest scenes in the show.
That was so great. And you're so right about that. There is a rumor that the original actor he had issues.
Had issues. I don't know exactly what they are, so I don't want to put words in his mouth, but I think it had something to do with like transgender rights. So, which
would be the stupidest thing to speak up about if you wanted to keep your job.
Yeah, if you're working with 2 directors who are transgender, where the topic is a major part of the show, and one of your fellow actors is a transgender. It's just, I understand them needing to get rid of him.
Yeah, no, I totally get it. I was disappointed, but again, totally and completely understandable. So, so I'm pretty sure we've covered all of the Sense8s in this cluster, right?
I think we've nailed all the characters, so now might be a good time
to point out
to go to another segment.
Oh my god.
That I've never done before.
Oh my god.
And then from there we'll cut to a Blue Apron ad.
Yeah.
Who's an awesome awesome sponsor. If you guys haven't checked it out.
I had a Blue Apron meal last night, and that's no bullshit.
Really?
I
Cool.
signed up with our BTB thing, and we've been getting 3 meals a week, and I love it so much. So
that's awesome.
And
I haven't tried it out yet, but
it's worth it.
Yeah, there's a couple other podcasts I listen to where they talk about it and how great it is.
The spices that they use are things that you would not pick out, and this is like no bullshit. The spices it's like I would never think to put this together. This is amazing.
Yeah. So we'll say it because I don't know. I can't.
Oh my God, you know who that is, right?
Thank you. Here we go.
Oh my God, you know who that is, right?
Oh shit.
Nah, bitch. Who?
You first.
Okay, me first because I've never done it.
Hold on. All right, go ahead.
Mine's too far away. So I know that the spirit of this skit is this segment, whatever. So I know the spirit of it is to pick one of the people that you'll see and recognize.
No, the spirit of this is Bethany got tired of me pointing people out in American Horror Story.
Yeah, but it's pointing people out that you see. Mine's a little different because you're going to have to watch the credits. So the person I'm going to point out...
Way to think outside the box, Michael.
It's Carmen Cuba. And she is the casting director for the show. And I love the cast so much that I really wanted to give her some attention here.
Okay.
And oh my God, do you know who she is, right? Because she's done the casting for shows like Stranger Things. She does Steven Soderbergh films, which I'm a big fan of.
They have good casting for those.
Yeah, like Contagion, The Girlfriend Experience. So she's done a lot. She's won an Emmy for Behind the Candelabra. She was the casting director for that. So like she's a fantastic casting director, and I think it really pays off having her on this thing.
My favorite part about the show is the cast.
Yeah.
So, well done.
Thank you.
Mine is a little more underwhelming, but I was really excited because I'm doing Will Gorski, who's Brian J. Smith, and he's had a couple bit parts here and there in different shows.
He looks super familiar to me.
Well, if he looks super familiar to you, then there's only one answer. You, sir, watch Gossip Girl.
No.
You do. Admit it.
I do not, but I knew where I recognized him from, but it wasn't Gossip Girl. It was, I think it was Stargate.
Yes.
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 Yeah, and he was in another show, which I'm not going to recall right now because I don't want to step on your bit.
Oh, no, I only have one thing, so go ahead. And if it's...
Yeah, well, okay. I can't remember. So thank you for hanging me out to dry. That's what I get for lying. I tried to be smooth.
There was a recent show he was on that I was like, oh, I didn't know he did an episode of that. But my biggest thing is he actually played, let's say this name a million times in this show, Max on Gossip Girl. He played Ivy's boyfriend for 6 episodes. And I remember going into the show going, well, they got one big name because I thought he was in a million things. Nope, turns out his biggest role was in 6 episodes of Gossip Girl, and I just watched that show enough.
Yeah, and I don't think...
I'm 31, and I am a Gossip Girl fan.
Oh, that's all right. I mean, I was made fun of earlier on the Fargo episode that they cut you out of.
Yeah.
Foxman.
Yeah, did you hear that?
Yeah, so, you know, he's a little
Darn
rude
tootin'.
about bits. Like, he doesn't respect people's bits, and he apparently doesn't respect people who
I
want to do
came
their
all
bits.
prepared. What would he do right now if I just did the whole darn tootin' on here?
Yeah, so, but he gave me crap for watching CW, so I don't hold it against people who watch.
CW is my favorite.
It's the best.
Not even kidding you, before Boob Tube Buddies and all this happened, and Bethany introduced me kind of to podcasts, and me and Lauren were talking, and we're like, if we ever did a podcast, what would we do it on? We're like, the WB. Not the CW, but the WB.
The WB.
And then once we covered all of the Frogs shows, then we would turn it into the CW.
Frog. Do you remember the spokesperson? They used to have a local spokesperson, like some
the blonde dude.
You used to run into him downtown.
Oh, yeah.
Orlando all the time.
I remember him.
Douche bag.
Super douchebag.
All right.
Who's bigger douche? The Dell guy or the WB guy?
The WB guy, because I ran into him in real life.
And he is a douche.
All right, so...
Let's wrap it up.
Yeah, and
Wrap it up, boss.
enjoy this Blue Apron ad.
All right.
They always say the way to a man's heart is through his stomach. And that is why this Boob Tube Betty is such a Blue Apron buddy. Without the helping hand of my dear friend Blue Apron, I would never be able to prepare these incredible meals from scratch. Go to www.blueapron.com/BTB and sign up for $30 off your very first order. For many months now, I have impressed, Blue Apron has impressed all of my gentlemen suitors. Listen, they don't need to know that Blue Apron did all the heavy lifting. Again, don't forget to visit www.blueapron.com/BTB to save a little money as well as time. Thanks, little buddies.
And we're back. Yay! Okay, well, hopefully you guys are running to your computers and phone and signing up for Blue Apron, blueapron.com/BTB to get your $30 off.
I'm glad you knew that. So just to wrap up now, I mean, we've covered the characters, we've covered the storyline. What is it that you're hoping to see in season 2?
I'm hoping to see more of a backstory line of Angelica, Jonas, and Whispers to kind of see what we're going to be dealing with.
That's an awesome point. Like, I didn't even think about that.
You know what I mean? Like, I want to, because it's like a puzzle, and you want to figure out where it might go, and that's a huge part of the puzzle.
God damn it, you just made me feel stupid.
Why?
Because I didn't, like, that
Like,
never...
I want to see more of Kala and Wolfgang.
It never crossed my mind. But yeah, I'm like, I like, floppy D's. That's why I watch, that's why I watch Westworld. That's why I watch Game of Thrones. I don't care about the storyline.
That's great.
Yeah, I kind of wanted to see how Will was going to...
I want to see what that is.
Yeah, how they're going to get beyond him just being high all the time.
Yeah, because I was kind of disappointed when I saw that. I'm like, I hope this is not the end of Will.
Right. So I just don't see how, if that guy's in his mind, how any of them are safe. And I'm sure that'll be the thing, like hunting them down, but surely there's going to be a way to fight back.
And there's got to be another way besides heroin to block it out.
Yeah, and like there's something interesting that happened in season 1 where he's looking, he and Jonas are watching Whispers on the bridge with Whispers is with his daughter, and he takes the pill, and Will can hear that little humming as the Sicilium is blocked. And I'll be interested to see if like there's some way to manipulate that so he can get into Whisper's head, which is kind of what I thought.
Probably what will happen.
What I thought when I saw that scene.
But would love to see the explanation for it.
Yeah.
Also, we were told that this cluster is not Angelica's first cluster.
Right. And
so are we going to meet more clusters?
They hinted that in the trailer.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, and I need to...
Right, check out that trailer.
Get off my shit.
Yeah, maybe we'll share it on our Facebook page, which you guys can follow. Yeah, I'm looking forward to doing this for season 2. It's going to be fun. It comes out tomorrow. I'll probably have seen the whole thing by sometime like 4 o'clock in the morning and be ready to go.
Oh, yeah. Like, I have 2 shows I'm in the middle of, which I will review on Best of April, but I'm prepared to stop it all and really check out Sense8. We haven't really discussed how we're going to cover it, but we'll see.
Yeah, we're going to play it by ear.
Exactly. So until then, this has been really exciting. I'm looking forward.
Fun. Yeah.
Looking forward to more, and we will see a little buddies.
You want to tie a bow on this bitch?
Let's tie a bow on this bitch.
Go ahead.
I like it. All right.
We will see you next time, little buddies.
The end.